Good evening, everybody out there in Facebook land, Zoom land, and wherever you may be. I am Brother Damon Warren, and I am the founder of Peace, which is Please Educate All Children Equally. And tonight is a very, very special night, very special night because this is April. It's also National Poetry Month. Before we even get there, I just want to take a few moments to pay respects to the dog, right? Pay respects to the dog. Brother DMX, who has transitioned today. So let's take a few moments to pay homage and pay respects to him. Yeah, rest in peace to the dog. But it's almost befitting, right, that we're going to do this particular show this evening as relates to the word of poetry, and looking at the evolution of poetry and hip hop and all those kinds of things that have stood the test of time. Tonight we have a great guest. Had an opportunity to meet him a couple of times, albeit virtually. Shout out to Mama Sabria Hassan for making the connection, and also Sister Khadija for making that connection. For one of the greats that I recognize is one of the greats, Brother Umar Bin Hassan, one of the members of the legendary poetic group, The Last Poets. So earlier in the week, I had an opportunity to meet with Brother Umar, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the interview for you tonight, so you can check out and see how our conversation went. And hopefully he can get on. I know he's a pretty busy guy. That's why I interviewed him earlier in the week. And I'm going to share the interview with you in just a moment. So give me a second, and I will pull that up for you. Good afternoon, everybody. How you doing out there in Facebook land and Zoom land and YouTube land? I have the honor and privilege to speak today with one of the greats, one of the greatest poets that I recognize as one of the greatest poets, Brother Umar Bin Hassan, who was also one of the members of The Last Poets for many years ago, and still to this day, still rocking and doing this thing. How you doing today, Brother Umar?
Fine, man, fine. I'm glad to be on the show with you, man. I was wondering when you was gonna get to me. I've been he's gonna call me, what's up? So I'm glad to be finally doing this,
Hey, listen, man, we can jump right. Listen, I just recognizing the fact that this is Poetry Month and whatnot, but poetry is all day, every day. I appreciate you coming on our show from our organization, Peace, which is Please Educate All Children Equally. But this is going to be education for all people, not just for the kids, but for anybody. Definitely. So I appreciate you coming on here today, man. So let's just talk a little bit about life in general, but how was life before coming into New York, and becoming a Last Poet? Talk about that, life how it started out back then.
Well, I can start off when, first of all, let me tell you, I got into the streets at 8 years old with a shoe shine box, trying to help a family survive. And so I, from this street was called Howard Street, the different bars, my destinations and my departures sometimes. So I was doing a lot in the streets at 8 years old, from 8 years old to 16 years old. I was in the streets, helping my family survive. So, because I had a father who was a brilliant musician. He used to play with some of the big cats when they were coming into town, but his mentality was kind of screwed. He was someone of an abuser of my mother. So, I was in and out of that, trying to survive myself and then have a family, try and deal with, certain family issues. So I've always been involved in something, doing something, on my own, as far as being a young Black man in America. So, and then then in high school, I was an athlete, ran track, played football. Matter of fact, there was a couple of colleges wanted me to actually come, but I didn't want to go to college, man. I didn't want to be part of that whole intellectual scene. I was beginning to write poetry and doing poetry. Matter of fact, I wrote a poem about my whole graduating class in high school. Missed everybody up. Yeah. Matter of fact, the principals and the assistant principals who didn't like me, who I had a little thing with, but then in the end they told me, see, we know you could do that. We know you had that talent with you. You know, see, I just messed about. So then I'm writing poetry, and I had, before I left Akron, I worked at a job at Firestone Tire Rubber. You know, if you're in the Midwest, you're gonna be in the factory before you go somewhere else. You're gonna work in the factory if you go in the Midwest somewhere to get your. So I was working at Firestone Tire Rubber, and then we got a little skirmish with the white police in that town, and everybody was thinking that because I was always outspoken as far as dealing with white people, and I was treating a lot of black people. Saying, "Oh my, you gotta come on." Well, it was Hank. My name was Hank Hewling. Then Hank, man, you gotta leave that alone, man. White people. I said, no, I didn't. I just did not take it. So we got in a little riot, and one time my mother really got worried about it when Akron Beacon's Journal caught me on picture with my hands in the air with my feet. She said, "Oh, come on, why don't you just take it easy?" Because I like being involved, man. I like being involved with people. I like doing things to try to help other people be involved. So that went on for a while, but then we had a little ride up and down Worcester Avenue, and then what really got to my mother was when the Akron Police Department sent a letter of recruitment to me to the house. And my mother said, not me, she said, you gotta get out of here now. You get out of here, you gotta go. And because I was always trying to stay around to be for her and my brother and sister, but my mother told me that I didn't step out on my own. Mother, you gotta get out of here because they'll get you down there and try to set you up and kill you. And that was what the Akron Police Department was about, killing black men at the time. So after I got out, next thing I know, I'm in New York. I didn't have no money to get out of town at the time, so I pawned my sister's record player who I'm with right now, whose house I'm in right now.
Wow.
I pawned her record player, and I got $25 for the record player. And I think what the ticket to New York was was 20 something, 22 something. So when I landed in Philadelphia before I got to New York, I bought me some food. So only thing after I bought the food, I just had 78 cents in my pocket. So I got back on the bus. So when I landed at Port Authority at 8th Avenue, I only had 78 cents in my name in my pocket with a bag of clothes. And so now the beautiful thing about here comes this Jamaican brother with the handkerchief game, hey, will you hold this for me? Will you hold this for me? So soon as he put when he put the handkerchief, I felt to see if there was any money, but usually ain't no money there. But this nigga had forgot the money, and he went away for about 5 minutes. Now here I am, an ex-track star, ex-football player. I could run. I took off up 9th Avenue, Jack. I'm gone, and I hid behind this outdoor, in this park behind this outdoor restroom, and I counted the money, and it was $25 in there, man. So I said, I didn't even know about Allah then, but now I can say that was a blessing from Allah at that moment. So I made my way up to Harlem with the $25, and I went to East Wind where the last chorus had their own loft. So when I met them in Ohio University at the time, they told me they had a loft, and I was, if I come to the loft. So I went there and I hooked up with Abby O'Doon, because Galen Kane, and I think Felipe, and they weren't all together at that time. So I hooked up with Abby O'Doon. And dig this, I don't know where I was gonna stay at. Now let me tell you this, his girlfriend was the daughter of Cicely Tyson. A lot of people didn't know that. Wow. Marlena, her name was Marlena. I can say that now. So they put me up in Cicely Tyson's apartment on the west side of New York. That's where all the rich, nice buildings. So I'm sitting in that apartment. Man, let me tell you something. I did not move from that one spot on that couch for 2 days. I didn't look in the Frigidaire. I didn't look through the books. I would just told them, come on. Because I'm in Cicely Tyson's, house, man. I didn't move. I just sat in that one spot. When I went to the bathroom, I came back. I didn't go in the Frigidaire. So finally, they came and got me. And Doom got me hooked up in this program for these students at City College who couldn't live on the college, and it was in this building. So I stayed in the building. I hooked up with a sister named by the name of Cookie Landon, and we hooked up for a while. Then we moved out of there. She got a apartment, and we, but that's my early life. So dealing with the last sports, man. I mean, deal with that album. We started dealing with the guy who put it out. I can't even remember his name this time. So when the album came out, man, things just blew up all over the place. And I didn't know it was gonna blow up like that, but it did. Matter of fact, that poem, Nigga Scared of Revolution, matter of fact, the owner, what's his name? He told me, so you're gonna make us a lot of money. I said, what you talking about? I said, because people buying the album just to hear that poem, Niggas Are Scared of Revolution.
Exactly. So listen, you dropping a lot of gems, you dropping a lot of science today, and a lot of stuff I was going to ask you just got already covered. But let's talk about that piece for a second. So that's your poem. I mean, you wrote that poem because you're the one that's spitting it, basically, right?
Yeah, that was my poem. Yeah, we only deal out. Everybody always did the original stuff. We never shared nobody. Everybody did it. You wrote something, that's yours. You're not supposed to do it.
Yeah.
That's why they call it. That's why it was good that we would call it Last Sports, because we didn't do each other's stuff. We just did our own stuff. But yeah, I wrote that poem.
So what was your inspiration? What was your inspiration for writing that poem, man?
Well, because I hung out on the street a lot from 8 years old. I was hanging out on the street, so I know about nigga. As a matter of fact, I used to tell everybody the reason that poem was so good because a real nigga wrote the poem. That's what I said. It's so good. A real nigga, because my nigga though, man, I was into the nigga thing for a little while there out there in the streets, man. So I said, yeah, I came to that poem. But and then the second album, This Is Madness, that hit it on. For a minute there, but we were on the top of the world, no lie. We were, man. We were on the top of the world. I mean, I went all over Europe. I went to places, man, where I saw on TV, Brussels, with the cathedrals and the castles. And I'm hanging on these places and saying, damn, I'm getting this done for free. Somebody else paid for it. But the amazing thing was about what happened at the end of that, we are into the museum, museum that's where everybody go when they go, and they get honored and carried on.
Okay. In France?
No, in America.
Oh, in America?
Yeah. It'll come to my name sooner or later.
Kennedy Center, maybe? Kennedy Center?
No, not the Kennedy Center. It's in the area. I was just talking about it the other day. I'll get it before.
Okay.
So when we get in there, man, that really, blew my mind, because when I was in Baltimore, this white girl came and said, well, Mom, we're going to put you all into the Smithsonian.
Oh, the Smithsonian in D.C.?
In D.C.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Man, I didn't, she said, I said, are you playing white girl? She said, no, Mom, come on, I'm going to take you to show you the facilities right now. So she took me down to D.C., showed me. So then we had the day before we were with him, we had a party. They had a party for us. And I had called my mother and told her that I was going to the Smithsonian. See, my mother was a highly educated, red-bone girl, man. She read a lot. She said, oh, boy, stop playing. You ain't in no Smithsonian. She said, but then I got a copy of, one of the little newsletters at the thing that I sent to her. She said, boy, she was just so happy because, it was her little hero, her little protector, and, into the Smithsonian. So I've been blessed, man. I have been blessed.
Hey, man, like you said at the beginning, man, we're here every single day. As long as we're here every single day, we are blessed. But you definitely, my brother, have traveled the world. And just from, selling your sister's a record player, right? And getting a chance to come to New York and come to Philly and meet all these people. And that's just some dope information, man. And it gives hope to the kids out there because, kids who might be coming through a rough time right now themselves, it still can happen for them too as well. Just
if they believe in what they're doing, exactly. If they believe in what they're doing and they do get in amongst the right people, it will happen for them.
Yes. So, and outside of Niggas Are Scared of Revolution, list a few other poems that are at your top of your list of things that you have written.
This Is Madness. That was the album. That was This Is Madness, and then Black Thighs, which was on
Black Thighs.
That was
Okay.
Then on the second album, This Is Madness, and I had a couple of good ones on there. And then I've written poems for sisters, like I said, Black Thighs, Redbone, and I can't believe I got some very good poems. I can't even think I remember now, but I'm doing a lot of writing. Matter of fact, I got a whole stack of poetry in a bag here, man.
Wow, that's awesome and amazing. So a lot of people reference when they talk about hip hop, and I'm a hip hop head, from its inception and whatnot. I got a chance to go on hip hop tours and whatnot in the Bronx and then Harlem and so on and so forth. But they credit, right, a lot of what you guys did early on as being the true orchestrators of the lyricism behind hip hop. Talk about that for a little bit. Like, did you meet some of those hip hop heads, like, some of those like the African Bambatas and the DJ Kool Hercs and Grandmaster Caz? Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, well, Jay-Z has been a wonderful supporter of us. Because he's a Brooklyn boy. I lived in Brooklyn. I guess that's why.
Okay.
He's an African Bambata, of course, and there's a whole lot of them I can't name, but who all have supported us and made it known that we know that you guys was doing this before we were born, some of us. See, because like in the Smithsonian, they got this little window of us with me, Abdul Doon, and Jalal in the window. And in the first album, This Is Madness, is in that window of us. But above all that window, these big flags and these big, ornaments flying all around us with hip hop. Because, these boys made money, so they're going to have, to outdo the little, picture in the window with us. But it all just shows, though, from that little window, it's what made those big flags flying around us.
Right.
And all that.
Right. Definitely. Any specific songs that come to mind that you may have been featured on? Are some of your favorite ones in hip hop or other music genres? You're on mute right now. You take yourself off mute. Wait a minute. Let me unmute you. Give me 1 second. I'll get you now.
Okay. Yeah, see, I'm not someone.
Yeah, that's it, brother. I appreciate you. I understand, King. I understand.
Okay.
I appreciate you, man. I appreciate it. So now talk about that a little bit. Talk about that a little bit in terms of any particular songs. Like I've heard several. Well, I've heard your voice and heard several of the references to, say, The Last Pose or You. Any particular song that you like?
It's okay. It came back on. It went on for a minute. It was muted. Somebody called in.
Oh, okay.
Somebody
Somebody.
So when that happens, just push that.
Yeah, just don't answer it.
Okay, all right, go ahead. All right. Go ahead.
Was there any one particular song, a hip hop song, or anything else that you enjoy hearing your work in collaboration over any others?
Well, the thing I did with Kanye and Common, The Corner.
The Corner, right? Talk about that. How did that come to fruition? How did that come to be?
Well, they just called me. They got in contact with me on one because we was working on something else, and with them in Chicago. And so Kanye said, "Listen, man, we got this piece out called The Corner. Man, we want you to build it. We want you to write a piece for it." So I wrote my little piece for it. I got nominated for a Grammy too. Oh, the Grammy party, which is out of sight. I'll never forget the Grammy party.
Wow.
Yeah,
Can you talk about that? You want to talk about that? I don't know.
All the stars backstage and the women that came up, man. I didn't want to leave that night, man. Everybody had the little sips going on and talking all day. SHIT stuff. The Grammy party was cool though, but we didn't win though. But we made a stand. So that's true. I forgot that we've been nominated. I was nominated for a Grammy for that piece because I wrote that piece. All the words in there were written by me.
Wow, I love the song "The Corner." I know exactly what you're talking about. When I heard, I was like, and to be sitting here and talking to you today, I mean, that's just amazing, man. That's love.
It reminds me of the times I was a corner, stand on the corner.
Yeah.
Rooster and Raymond. There was a corner that we all used to hung out on, before we had the riots and carrying on. And
right.
Yeah, now,
So as a performance poet, most of your poetry comes from things that you've actually seen or done. That's your inspiration for the most part, right?
Yeah, the things I've been involved in,
Okay.
things that inspired me or made me stop and look and check it out for a minute or two. Yeah, I mean, I do that. You know, sometimes I find myself like putting too many things on paper because you know, because I got a lot of poems here now that I haven't really used in public yet, but I will sooner or later.
Yeah, we can talk about that in a second too. But in the past, any particular venues or places, like you said, you've been all over the world. Like, name your top 2 or 3 places that you've performed throughout the entire world, if you can.
Well, England, this is club. Got the name of it. It's in England. It's a club in England. We've been to England so much. We almost like lived over there, man. And then let me see what can Carnegie Hall. That kind of got to me. I mean, when we went in and played Carnegie Hall, that was like, you know, Carnegie Hall, you know. Come on. Carnegie Hall. And
I got you. You're back.
okay, I said Carnegie Hall.
Yeah, Carnegie Hall.
Club, of course, the Apollo, man. I got to put that down. That was the first place. When we played the Apollo, that was just like, here I am in all the places of temptation. And Jerry Butler and all my fans, I'm here on stage. And the Apollo. And what did I say? I said,
You said London, a place in London.
London.
Carnegie Hall and the Apollo.
Carnegie Hall. You know, it's probably the most important places, or the places that I enjoyed or really relished being in, because they meant so much to, you know, cultural icons in America. You know, to be part of that and to be in that place and performing and getting applause, that was really some, you know, I really enjoyed that. I still relish those moments, you know.
Right,
especially the Apollo. Let me tell you about the Apollo, man.
Sure.
I mean, people were. No, I can't tell you. I won't tell you that part about it.
If you keep the clean version, you can say, you know, hey, tell me whatever you want to tell me, keep the clean version, because kids do watch this.
Yeah, but well, it's clean. It ain't that much. It's that when we were there, the front row, there was about 12 of us in the front row, and most of the young ladies who were in the front row didn't have no drawers on.
Oh my God. Oh yeah.
But, yeah. I mean, you know, I heard about things like that, but then you experience something like that, it's like, damn, this shit is true, ain't it? And you know, so this guy, when I got off stage, there was a couple I tried to contact. I tried to get in contact. You know, that role, man, that, you know, oh, he's a star, and I think all that old bullshit. So, you know, there was a lot of that out there too, man. I had to catch myself a lot of times. Because, you know, all that fame and that notoriety can take you off. It can take you off if you ain't have somewhere or someplace in your mind that say, oh, that's enough. Stop. You can't go nowhere. That ain't doing it. It's enough.
And that's a good thing, even though that was there, all that was thrown in your face. And, you know, temptation is definitely there, but you can still maintain yourself to a degree, right? To come out of that situation.
But there was so much being offered and so many times, man, you always say, well, is this natural? This is what you get for being on stage and being expressive again? So you got to like really check that. You know, otherwise you can lose yourself out there, you know, and all that, man.
Yeah.
I'm glad I was able to check myself.
Yeah, and Nathan, the Most High, Allah, God, definitely bless you, because you're still here to this day. You know what I mean?
Allah has really been, man, if it hadn't been for his blessing and his mercy, I'd have been out here a long time ago.
Yeah, absolutely. I shake for that. Are there any particular poets? Now, obviously, you're part of the collective of the Last Poets, but any other poets that you have been in venues with that you say, like, you admire that person, or somebody that you did not get a chance to perform at the same venue with? Talk about that a little bit. Anybody else you did, or someone you would have liked to have done?
Mary Baraka. Mary Baraka is like he was like my godfather. You know, because when I first got to talk to him, because, you know, when I was in Ohio, I got to see him, you know, because you remember when they had the riots in Newark, man?
In Newark?
Yeah.
Yes, Newark.
That was one of the first big riots in America. But anyway, after the riots, he was standing by this this messed up Volkswagen. He was in the back of it, and he had this saying under in the Time magazine, "Smash those jelly white faces." So I said, "Whoa!" Because at that time, me and my boys, we dressed up. Now we got our beaver skins on, we got our Hickey Freemans on. We going out to the club. We riding out to the Finesse Club where we go party. And I'm seeing all these cars coming past me with white people with like, wow, those pasty white faces. So he influenced me, man, because so much. And I got to walk with him one day through Newark, and he was street people. Man, he was street people, man. He was a hipster. He was a bopper, man. So, but then the way he used the language, so he eloquently and so able to be able to touch everybody from the street person to the educational person, really amazed me. Because he was an amazing person, man. He was real. I dug him. So when he died, man, I was like, whoa, took a lot. Ooh, it really, he was, I'll call him my mentor. I'll call him my teacher. I'll call him my professor because he was to me.
Okay.
Was to me.
And Mary Rock was an amazing educator and an activist and so on and so forth.
Yeah, he was.
I believe they have a school up there now, I can be named after him in the Newark area, actually, to be honest with you. Anybody else besides him?
Well, Phil Saunders.
Okay.
I just, I did a gig with Phil once. Phil was just, from day one when I first heard him, he used to come to this place called the East. You remember the East? You ever heard about the East in Brooklyn?
I read about it. Never been. I read about it.
And on Friday and Saturday night, we played the East so much it was like a home. It was like we could have spent the night there on Monday and slept until Friday and Saturday when everybody came to see us. And then some of the different performers would come behind us and sneak behind us on stage and play behind us with some of them. Gary Bartz, he would come in and want to play with us, and the East was something special, really something. Plus they had a school there where the first one I met with Queenie Mae, we put her children into that school. I forgot the name of the school, but yeah. So the East, man, the East was a place that just made me feel at home. We loved to perform there. It was like our second home, man. It was.
Okay. What about any performances coming up in the future? Anything you got going on?
Well, you know how this corona. We got something that's we're gonna be out in California June the 19th. And plus, we've been doing things on Zoom, here and there on from Europe, and we did a college gig on Zoom. Lehman College. So there's a little bit of things coming in and out, but I think when it warms up, it might open up a little bit,
You said so June 19th in California. Is that tied to Juneteenth? Is that something around Juneteenth?
Yes, it is. Yeah, that's tied to Juneteenth. Yeah.
Nice. That's gonna be a live thing you're going to, or is it be like a Zoom thing?
Yeah, no, it's going. Well, I don't know who they gonna project the Zoom, but I haven't found that out from anybody yet. So I think it's now just a college,
Okay.
Yeah, doing a gig at college.
Yeah, definitely keep us in the loop with that right there. So as far as the masterclass, right? And we talked about the concept of the masterclass, and I know we're still fleshing some things out. What is your desire, to do this masterclass for? Like, for these young people coming up, talk about that a little bit.
Well, if I can inspire some people who are starting out to write now, and who be having doubts about how they sound or how it sounds to people, I'd be happy to do that. It'd be good for me to do that, because I was always wondering when I wrote my first poetry, how did I sound like, or was it capable, or was it good enough to be taken to the people? So yeah, if I can do that and help some young people find themselves and find a sense of who they are or what their art is, yeah, I would. That's always good for me because I was so young when I started, man. I was like 17, 18, 19 when I became a last poet. So I can help some other people to become who they think they want to be or who they feel they want to be or what they think their worth is in writing and sharing it with the public. Yeah, I don't mind. Yeah, I don't mind doing that.
Absolutely. We're definitely looking forward to that coming out soon. And I know we don't have an exact date yet, but when that comes out, definitely we'll collaborate and get that information out there to the world, man, because the world needs to learn from your mastery of this particular art form and all the things that you've done and the fun and the do's and the don'ts. You can drop the artistry, but also the do's and the don'ts for those that like make it and become famous and so on and so forth, because you're still here, good brother. So you have a lot of jewels and a lot of gems to drop.
And I'm happy that I'm still, because there's been some points in times where I was getting into some things that looked like I could have been taken out, but I caught myself. I said, nope, not that, because I know one time I was dealing with these people in drugs, and oh man, they had, it was deep. I mean, it was a position where I saw them set up all this dope in front of me, and then they start putting $10,000 in front of me, and I walked away from it. Cause I could not take that. Something, even though it looks all what it should be if I want to get out there and become big time, but I walked away from them. I couldn't take that to the black community. I said, here I am on drugs, going through some changes, and now I'm gonna take this and help other people go through changes. I walked away from them and fucked them up from what my person who knew them told me. He said, well, you fucked them up. Not only you did not take in any of the drugs, you didn't take none of the $10,000 was on the table. No, I didn't do that. But I didn't want to take that to the black community, man. I didn't want to do that.
And having that moral code, man, definitely we're truly blessed for having that and not taking that back, because you're very influential. So had you taken that back, people would have been inspired by that. So thank you for not doing that, man. And so, so we're just about wrapping up. Anything else you want to share with the people out there? Anything else you want them to know?
Well, I just hope everybody is staying healthy and keeping themselves healthy and, trying to do the right thing for themselves going through this little period here. And hopefully that a lot of them can come past it and be healthy and get back out there when the sun is really shining again for all of us, when it's really shining. You know what I'm saying? So that's all. Just hope everybody makes it through this.
Yes, sir. Every day, all day, every day, man. So I appreciate you. We're going to talk a little bit in a second, but I just want to say to the people out there, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Please Educate All Children Equally. Again, this was Brother Umar Bin Hassan, one of the great members of the Last Poets, but also he's an individual doing this thing out there, waiting for some more material to come out. He got some more material coming. So he got piles and piles of poetry ready to go, and also that masterclass. Stay tuned for that masterclass so you can learn from one of these greats. Again, my name is Brother Damon Warren, and I'm the owner and operator of Peace. Please educate all children equally. Everyone, be blessed. Stay safe. Peace. So there was the interview by Brother Umar Bin Hassan, one of the founders, one of the members of the Last Poets. And he dropped a lot of subtle things in there, right? First of all, again, shout out to his daughters, Sabria and Khadija, for the connection. I appreciate you. In honor of Poetry Month.
We've become bored with watching actors give us phony
This
emotions.
is what we wanted to do.
We're tired of...
Okay, a little technical snafu there. But yeah, as you were listening, and I've dropped a few things inside the Facebook links in terms of the actual poem itself, the song that you can hear. I couldn't play that on here because you know how Facebook gets, they shut you down and they block you and so on and so forth. Also putting one of the performances on there for those that have not seen that. And I strongly suggest those young people, right, and parents with parent permission, please read the poem. Please listen to the poem, that we were referencing, niggas is scared of revolution, and not just talking about Black people, talking about anybody that's an ignorant person, right? But specifically people that are out there not wanting to change, because revolution is essentially a change. And he spoke to some of the things that he was faced with and some things that were presented, many years ago, where he could have easily fell in some traps. And then he maybe got to some traps, but then got out of them. And when you look at that and you reflect on Brother DMX for the day, and he had his demons, right, that he couldn't overcome. And so many of us, not just him, just putting that out there because everybody is recognizing that right now. In fact, when I get out of here, I'll probably go play some music, some DMX, and reflect on a movie or something like that. But we know a lot of people out there like that, that are unwilling to change, right? Or can't change, right? And so we got to support them. We got to hug them. We got to love them. That brother right there, Brother Umar, that just dropped some science on us, he's still here, right? And he made some changes to still be here. That's one of our elders. And we need to make sure we smell the roses and give the roses while they're still here and while we're still here as well. So again, looking forward to that masterclass and some other good announcements coming up soon, coming from the family. Once I get that information, I will get that out there to you. I'm blessed to be a contributor to some of that work that's coming out soon. So looking forward to that. And this is our show for this month, April, and it being Poetry Month. Looking forward to next month, which is going to be very, very dope. I already got a couple of educators, and we're going to talk a little bit about Malcolm X, right? Because if you don't celebrate Malcolm X Day, hopefully after our next month's show, you shall. Again, my name is Brother Damon Warren, and this is another one of our shows from Peace. Please educate all children equally. Education for Liberation Fridays. Please share this feed, share this link with the children, because I'm sure they're watching something else right now or out playing or so on and so forth. Share this information, because this information is very, very, very important to the children and to everyone. Everyone, have a blessed night. Be safe. Peace.